I used to think I was above jealousy, that I didn't get emotional like that, but the truth is, I just learned to hide it better. I told myself I was being logical, that I had no reason to feel insecure, but it still crept in. When she laughed a little too freely with someone else, when she took longer to text back, when I saw her follow someone who looked like everything I wasn't. I never exploded, I never demanded passwords, but I withdrew. I joked with a bitter edge. I convinced myself I didn't care, but the knot in my stomach told a different story. What I didn't understand back then was this: jealousy isn't always about trust. Sometimes, it's about identity. For me, it was about comparison, about not feeling interesting enough, attractive enough, or not alpha enough. Whatever that means. I grew up believing that men had to own their space, that if someone could take your girl, you weren't man enough to keep her. It was never said out loud, but it lived in the way the older guys joked, in the way movies portrayed strength, in the way where no one ever showed vulnerability. So when I felt jealous, break here stop mill, I didn't call it that. I called it suspicion, called it strategy, called it just being aware. But deep down, I was scared. Scared of being outperformed, scared of being replaceable, scared of caring more than I was allowed to. And that fear, it never came from her. It came from me, from an idea I carried. That love had to be earned, daily, competitively, performatively. And when I couldn't perform, when I was tired, insecure, quiet, I felt like I might lose everything. So I became quiet when I wanted to connect, cold when I wanted to be held, distant when I felt most fragile. It took me years to realize that this wasn't love, it was survival, and it was making me lonely. Here's what changed it. I started naming it out loud. I feel jealous right now. I feel small. Break here stop mill. I feel like I'm not enough. Not to blame her, but to include her, to let her in, where I used to shut the emotionally vulnerable door. And the most surprising part? She didn't run, she stayed. Break here stop mill. She listened, she held the space. Because real love is a decision. It's a conscious decision to work the hard times through, together. And I learned that being honest didn't make me weak, it made me free. Jealousy didn't disappear overnight, but it softened. It stopped being the voice that drove my decisions, and became the signal that something inside me needed to be taken care of. Now, when it shows up, I ask, what am I afraid to lose? Is this about her, or about how I see myself? And most importantly, what would I say right now if I believed I was already enough? If you've ever felt the urge to pull away, break here stop mill, to overanalyze, to protect your pride instead of your peace, you're not alone, you're not broken, you're not less of a man for feeling jealous. You're human, you're learning, and maybe, like me, you just never learned that it's okay to feel insecure, without turning it into distance or control. So this is your reminder: your worth isn't based on how little you need, or how well you hide it. It's based on your willingness to be honest about what lives inside you. That's strength, that's love, that's the beginning of trust, not just in them, but in yourself. Break here stop mill. And if something I just talked about spoke to you, not just as a man, but as a human who feels deeply and has tried to hide it well, then stay. Drop a comment, big or small, let it be a lasting moment of truth. Break here stop mill, yours and ours. Subscribe if you're ready for more honesty, for more self-understanding, for more space to grow without shame. And if you've ever wondered how this feels from the other side, how jealousy lives in the body of someone you love, watch Naomi's story. She carries it differently, but you'll recognize the same ache beneath it. Let's not navigate this in silence. Let's grow slow and root deep together.